In this video, I'm going to teach you what to do with the waist in Tai Chi. We're going to talk about the center, some of the common mistakes people make that cause them to lose their center, and I'm going to show you some exercises that are going to help you to develop more relaxation so that you can develop more awareness of your center. Coming up. Hi, welcome back to Center Life Balance. On this channel, we're sharing the best principles, practices, and techniques for physical, mental, and spiritual growth. So if that's something you're interested in, consider subscribing to the channel. This video is the third in this Tai Chi step-by-step series where I'm talking about what to do with the center in Tai Chi. So let's get into the training. Okay, so the center is located about 3 fingers below the navel. So under the belly button, about 3 fingers down is the location of the center. So if you imagine that you draw a straight line through the body, through that point, intersecting straight out the back, and if you interconnect that point with the plumb line from the top of the body straight down through to the ground, you will find your center. And the center is like the axis of the body. So all movement in Tai Chi happens through the center. Wherever possible, we want to ensure that our movements are being led by the center, that the center leads all the movements. What does that mean? It means that if I'm going to move my arm, okay, that I don't want to be moving the arm from the shoulder here. If I just move my arm like this, I'm doing a similar movement to one of the Tai Chi movements, but it's just all in the arm, it's all in the shoulder. If I want to move from the center, I use the center to turn. The arm still moves a little bit, but the center is leading the movement. I'm turning with the center, and then I'm turning the center back, the hand turns. So the hand follows the body is turning. So center leading the movement. What that also means is that in Tai Chi, when you're facing in a direction, your center is going to be facing in that direction. In other words, that you're never going to have a situation where your body is facing this way, your center is turned out that way, and your head is looking this way, or your head is looking that way. The head should always, and the nose, you could imagine, will line up in front of your belly button pretty much for most of the movements in Tai Chi. So we've got to ensure that when we turn the center, that the rest of the body turns with the center. Now, in order to be able to feel your center, it's going to be quite difficult in the beginning. If you're new to Tai Chi, feeling from the center, moving from the center is going to be quite difficult. The problem is that many of us have, when we get started in Tai Chi, we have a lot of surface tension. So what I mean by that is we're carrying a lot of tension in our shoulders, we might have pain in our back, we might have a stiff back, we might have stiffness in the hips, or stiffness in the arms, or some sort of arthritis, or some sort of inflammation in the body. And when we have tension and stiffness, tightness in the body, it's usually at the surface level, it's at the muscular level, so it's on the level of the surface. When we have so much surface tension all over the body, it becomes difficult to go deeper into the body and feel for those deeper levels of feeling and sensation in the body. And because the center lies within the body, it's deep within the body, if you've got a lot of surface tension, you're going to need to work through some of that surface tension and learn to become more relaxed before your mind is going to be able to penetrate deep into the center of the body and feel for your center. But the good news is that the movements of Tai Chi, because of the circular movements and the way we turn the body, over time, these movements, because they all integrate the center into them, are going to start to make the center more visible to you in your practice. Let's look at some of the common mistakes people make that causes them to lose connection with the center. The first common mistake is tilting at the hips. So if we're, for example, in a stepping movement and we're stepping forward, so the way we want to correctly step is to shift the weight forward onto the leg, maintain that straight spine, then gently put the foot out, shifting the weight forward. But one of the habits that you may have in the beginning is that when we're changing weight and stepping from one foot to the other, is to have this little bit of a tilt, or to kick the hip out as we step, because it can make the movement easier to do. So what we want to do is avoid this tilting at the hips when we're moving. Because when you tilt at the hips, you break your center line. You break your center line, and when you break your center line, you lose connection with the hips. What also happens is when you tilt a little bit like this, if you were to tilt just like this and stay like this for a couple of minutes, what's going to happen? It's going to start to feel tension building up here, tension building up here, because the body is out of alignment. So the correct posture to be in is a natural upright position. The next mistake that people often make is rushing through the form. It can be a temptation sometimes to move very quickly in Tai Chi and to get through the form and do your movements quickly. But when you move fast, it makes it very difficult for the body to organize itself and become aware of itself. So in Tai Chi, one of the reasons why it's done slow is so that the mind is able to connect with the body, and the mind is able to sense and feel, okay, is my alignment correct here? Is it correct here? Is it correct here? And here. But if we're moving too quickly and we're just rushing through the movements, it's very difficult to become aware of where the tension is, where the imbalances are, where you're out of alignment. So it's super important that we've got to move slowly in Tai Chi if we want to develop awareness, not just of the center, but of our alignment and of the imbalances in the body. In fact, with your practice, you might want to slow it right down more than usual, even slower than is recommended, if you're really struggling to find the awareness and trying to feel what's going on inside. I can tell you that if you slow it down, crawl through the movement, you're going to feel a lot more. Just like if you're doing weights or if you're lifting weights, when you lift them really, really, really slow, you feel the muscle much, much more. Another common mistake that we touched on briefly is moving the arms too much in the movements. So what I mean by that is when you're doing, let's say, a silk reeling movement, you can move with the center and let the movement be led by the center. But what many people do is they do a lot of arm movement. So they use the shoulder a lot to make the movement happen. So I can still make it look like a silk reeling movement if I turn like this, but if you look closely, you see that my arm is doing a lot of work, my shoulder is doing a lot of movement. What we want to do is minimize the movement of the arms, let the body be the driver of the movement. So the body turns and the arm just follows. When I shift the weight, again, the arm is moving very little. If I shift the weight back, it's really just arm following the body. So then I'm turning here with the body. Now if I just turn my center back, you can see that the arm is still in front of the body. So it may sometimes appear that we're turning a lot and that the arm is really turning, but it's really the body that's turning. So avoid trying to use the arms too much in your practice. Avoid too much arm work and you're going to make excellent progress. Let's look at some exercises now that you can do that's going to help you to free up the center and allow your body to move a little bit easier. So we're going to start with just some rotations of the spine. These are excellent because your spine goes right down to the tailbone, and when you turn the spine, you're turning the center. You have to turn the center. You can't turn your spine without turning your center. So let's start like this. We're just going to gently let the arms float up here, elbows heavy, and I'm just going to turn the upper body first. Now I'm not turning my waist in this movement, as you can see. I'm just turning the upper body slightly. This is bringing some awareness back into the spinal column, limiting the movement to a small section of the upper back. You can do this one for maybe 1 or 2 minutes. When you're ready, now we're going to turn the whole body. Arms in a similar position, but now I'm just turning around, looking behind. With these movements, you want to avoid this tilting at the hips movement. So you can see this tilting here. That's what we want to try and avoid. We want to maintain a straight spinal column. Be like the revolving door of a hotel. Spine straight, nice and relaxed. Now you could do this kind of a movement for 2 minutes, 3 minutes or 4 minutes and slow it down. You could go slower, try to feel as much as what's going on inside, or you can get a rhythm going and allow your body to get a little bit of a stretch in the hips when you turn. Now, next movement, we're just going to let the arms swing nice and soft. When you're doing these movements, you want to try and relax the shoulders as much as possible. You don't want to be using your shoulders and putting them into the movement. Just as you turn the body, the arms follow. I'm just turning the body and the arms are following. So this movement, as you can see, the center is turning all the time. The movement is actually being led by the center. You turn your center and the rest of the body will follow. You want to have your legs a little bit bent for these movements. You don't want to have your legs locked. It's going to make it difficult to turn. So a little bit of bounce in your step is not bad. The next movement we're going to do is just rotating the hips. So nice hip rotation. Again, keeping the legs bent while you're doing the movement. And try to keep your head from moving around too much. Really what we're focusing on here is moving the center. We're trying to become aware of where our legs and where the thighs meet the pelvis, keeping aware of that area and the hips. Trying to focus on relaxation, letting the upper body relax down. If you want to develop more awareness of your center, you can slow them down. You can make them very small, almost minute. You can make it like it's almost like a tiny, tiny little movement. Maybe closing your eyes may help. And really feel for, where is my center in this movement? Can I feel that the center is leading the movement? It's all about becoming more aware of the center. Just having it as a focus in your practice is going to help you develop more awareness of it. And it's going to gradually, as you become more relaxed, less tense, you'll become more aware of the center. And very soon you'll be moving from the center in your practice, which is a beautiful feeling. It's a beautiful feeling when the body is organized, when the center is leading the movement. So I'm just making little circles here, tiny little circles now. Again, you can make them bigger. Last exercise that I think is really good for loosening up the center and trying to dissipate some of the tension in the body is just gently shaking the hips a little bit like this. You can let the legs drive the movement, but again, you're moving from the center here. Now, when you're shaking the body like this, it just helps release the energy, tension around the lower back and around the hips. Just do this for a couple of minutes and then shake off. If you're interested in a full body relaxation workout, so something that rotates all of the joints in the body, I'll be sure to link a video up in the YouTube card so that you can get some more relaxation going. So be sure to check that out. So just to wrap things up, guys, you want to try your best to become aware of the center, start to shed some of that external surface tension, and as you do, you're going to become more aware of the internal workings of the body. You're going to become more aware of what's going on deeper inside. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching this video. In the next video, I'm going to be talking about what to do with the arms and the hands in Tai Chi and some of the common mistakes that people make when using the arms in Tai Chi. I'll see you in the next video.